So this is where I put my B580 from Intel if I had one.
And this is where I'd put a trophy. If I had one!
All kidding aside, there has been another launch from Intel for a new graphics card. New graphics cards are coming out. So let's jump into it and talk about it and see who I would recommend this to. So with another round of graphics cards, another round of scalpers. So you got to be careful with what's going on right now. The graphics card themselves are supposed to be MSRP'd at about $249, $59, something like that. But right now they're all on Amazon for about $400. It's wild how people are quickly getting these and just taking them out of the hands of gamers. I'm not a big fan of it, but here we are. It's 2024 and I don't see it ever slowing down. If there's a new tech product that comes out, there's going to be new people to come and snag them up before people that actually want to use them and make a weird profit. But that being said, let's take a look at some of these benchmarks that we've been seeing and see who I would recommend this to. So this is a screenshot I got from Gamers Nexus. It's one of their benchmarks. Unfortunately, I really couldn't benchmark it myself. I could not get my hands on one of these cards. I was really close to a Micro Center recently, and yeah, they sell out almost immediately. You go on that site, and within 30 seconds, someone has bought it to pick up in store, and unless you have a bot, you ain't getting it. So, the best I could do, hopefully in a few years or whenever, if I ever get big enough that they'll start sending me these things as a pipe dream. But, if they do, that'd be nice. But this is a screenshot I got from Gamers Nexus. It's showing us sitting right between the RTX 4060 Ti and 4060. It's getting 48 frames, or 44.8 frames in Baldur's Gate 3 on 4K Ultra. So the fact that this card can even play 4K games on Ultra, like in a decent frame rate, better than most consoles these days for $250, that's insane. That's wild. It's doing a great job. I have a few other benchmarks from a couple other different tech channels. I'll jump into the next one. So this one comes from Jay's 2 cents, which he does it a little bit more realistic than Gamers Nexus. Like, I know they did some 1080p, but I wanted to include a 1080p game, 1440p, and a 4K. Jay-Z 2 cents just went straight to 4K or 1440p and 1080p, which I think is probably the safe zone for this type of card. I wouldn't probably put this on ultra settings in some of these games. Like in this game, it's Cyberpunk 2077, which did come out a few years ago, but is a very demanding game even for cards these days. And it's sitting right there just above the 4060. It's getting 39 frames for 1080p and 25 frames for 1440p. It's in ultra. I would just knock it back to probably like higher medium and see if you can get at least to 60. And it probably could play this game at a decent 60 frames per second in 1440p. And even then, a lot of people still play in 1080p these days. So there's not that knock on it that it can't do too much 1440p, but I see it as more of a 1080p / 1440p where you have some limitations on it. And who knows with the Intel software if it will get better over the time. Let's jump. So this is like one of the newest games that was on the list that I could see. And it's Atomic Heart. It's in 1080p. And it's smacking right between the 4060 Ti and the 4060. This card is a competitor in that price range. It's ridiculous that it has 12 gigs of RAM and it's only $250. The fact that it can get up to, 68 frames, or no, 87 frames, it's not bad for the price. It's a really good card. And this is a 1080p card, at least, and a good chunk of them. But if you want to just knock it back a little bit, and then you can get this in 1440p. It's a killer deal for that type of price. And I'll jump in my recommendations. So, if you have an older card, or say you just bought one of those Dell computers that everyone has lying around that are getting, that are from offices with a decent i5 or a decent i7 on it, this card might be a really good deal for you. It's not, they don't seem to be super high profile, super thick. They're pretty low on the power pull, which is good for that type of card. And also if you're a tinker. The thing is with Intel is that they don't have the polish that NVIDIA has with their software. So you almost have to be kind of understanding of the fact that you're going to have bugs, you're going to have glitches, you're going to have hiccups. You're going to have to be willing to tinker with it to get it working the way you want it to work. And a lot of people aren't a big fan of keep on fiddling with the software, which, you know what, even myself, I typically just get MSI Afterburner and just keep my drivers updated, and that's basically all I do, but that's because I'm running a 4090. I really don't have to worry about driver stability because it's NVIDIA. You come with that pedigree, but on the other hand, it is a $2,000 card where this is a take a zero off, and it's in that price range. They're not even in the same stable. But this is a great card for the price. If you have someone that's just getting into PC gaming and just wants to learning on a card where you have to fix it constantly is actually really good, because then you can learn how to troubleshoot and fix the issues that you're going to see in the future. And it's not going to break the bank. It's a great upgrade for anyone who has like the 1070s and the older generation cards, because it's beating them hand bar none. Like, if someone's on a 9 series or a 10 series, this card's a no-brainer. It's beating that card, and it's not that much more expensive. Like a $250 card, and you can beat a 1070 or 1080. That's wild. I know the 1070 launched and it was like $500. This card's beating it now. But then again, the 1070s, it's kind of about to be 4 generations old, because the 5 series is coming out soon. So it does make sense that it's losing, but you can do a pretty decent upgrade path to it. Intel's coming after that middle market, which is nice. Having competition in its zone be awesome, because it's going to drive NVIDIA to lower their prices and AMD to lower their prices, and this price point, which only helps out the gamers. And usually, typically, when the higher end, the middle end starts lowering price, so does the higher end. Not as fast, but it still does drop a bit. And that would be nice too. This graphics card price point is wild these days. The 70s series always were about $500. And now they're over $1,000. So hopefully they can come down in price too. I would like pretty much everyone to start evening out. It's a good card. Like, I wouldn't knock it. I get it. It's an Intel card, and they're not like the most known for making GPUs just yet. But if you want to early adopt it, I was literally looking to buy it. I wanted one, and unfortunately, it's just impossible to get right now. So when the time comes and there's availability, please don't buy from the scalpers, though. Like, I get it, you want it for Christmas or whatever. Just wait. Like, talk to your loved one if they want it for Christmas and go, can't we just wait until it comes in stock? Because giving these pieces of shit money is something I would never recommend. And because, screw them. Who cares? Like, they shouldn't be getting that type of money just because they're able to click the button quicker than you. I get it, it's whoever's willing to pay the money type thing, but just don't. Like, it won't take long for the inventory stuff to level itself out. It always does. And especially with graphics cards. And it just takes a bit. Like, I was there for the 30 series launch, and how destructive that was. And no one could find anything. It was impossible to find any cards. And it grew out of that. The 40 series had a better launch. Who knows what's going on with the 50 series. So, just keep your eye out for them. Keep your eye on your local Micro Center or your local Best Buy or Amazon. It's probably going to be harder for Amazon and Newegg because everyone has access to them. But if you have access to a Micro Center, heck yeah, that's usually probably going to be your best bet. But you got to be on it, because these people are. And it's not great, but it's the world we live in. It's a great card for the budget. I recommend it if you're willing to tinker and willing to try to make things work when they don't. I know certain cards don't like Fortnite very well, and certain cards do, and who knows what the future is going to bring for the Intel software. But from what I've seen, it's gotten a lot better. And looks like the future is going to get pretty bright for the GPU market side of Intel. Well, I'll see you guys in the next one, and stay safe. Peace.